normal people become terrified of criminals.
Shots were just fired. Police just came out and told us, and we're headed there right now.
They become terrified of their own government.
We got this one from the Boston Herald, ladies and gentlemen. Biden says he wouldn't be seeking re-election if Trump wasn't running, which is the weirdest headline because if it's anyone other than Joe Biden, Trump loses, according to numerous polls. So let me break this down. Biden claims here's a quote. If Trump wasn't running, I'm not sure I'd be running, but we can't let him win, Biden said at a fundraiser at a private event near Boston, according to a poll report. Biden just celebrated his 81st birthday. He went on to warn that Trump has made clear what his plans would be if he wins. Trump's not even hiding the ball anymore. He's telling us what he's going to do. He's making no bones about it. Biden cited Trump's comments. He's out for retribution if he wins. Biden is just really trying to get me to vote for Donald Trump here. But let's slow this down. Biden claiming that he wouldn't be seeking re-election if Trump wasn't running. That's the headline. That's the story. If Biden didn't run, there's a poll from NBC showing that any other Democratic candidate is 46 to Trump's 40%. But with Biden, it's like Trump 43 to like Biden 39, which is to say Joe Biden just admitted he's a Trump supporter and he wants Trump to win. And that's his true intention.
I'm loving this bit. This is hilarious.
So Biden wants retribution, too.
Yeah.
And he's like, come on, man. If Trump's going to win, I got to be here. If I leave, he'll lose. I guess.
I love it.
I just think it's so lame, right? Like you want a president that has a vision for what he wants to accomplish in the country, right? And he's saying he's just running to stop Trump. Like you need an altruistic president with a vision. I mean, we obviously know he doesn't have that. That's not a surprise to us. But it's lame that he's actually admitting it.
I fully agree. We want somebody with a vision. That's like one of my number one on my bucket list of to do for a president is give me something to live for. Yeah. What's the next 20 years going to look like, bro?
I want a president that has a vision about like not doing stuff. All these presidents that like do things like I want a president that wants to do less. We have the largest government in human history.
Well, to clarify my argument, if he's like, I'm going to shut down this organization and this organization,
just a vision, a plan.
Okay.
I'd be open to that. But I want some long-term, like, are my kids going to be okay in 20 years and why? You want the most powerful job on earth. You better give me a reason.
I think one of the things that's actually helping Democrats is they don't need to campaign on kids because liberals don't have kids. So it's really simple. They target those viral videos about dinks.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, do you think this
really
like the dink stuff is that's
oh, dude, this is why Biden has
kids. What is dink?
Double income, no kids. And so Biden is basically, I'm going to forgive your student loan debt. Why? So you can go party. Come on, baby.
I just got an email. Was I telling you guys about that? I was telling Luke about it while I was down there on We Are Change show, bestpoliticalshow.com. That I got an email like last week. Hey, by the way, you have no more debt. I just saw all of my student debt. I thought it was like 8,000 of the 19,000 was gone. It was all of it.
It's all gone.
And then it went 180,000 more people got that same email.
So wait, how much did they forgive?
For me, total 19,000. I paid off 6,800.
Is that income?
I don't know.
IRS might.
It didn't.
Call
Yeah,
that
that's what people are like. Hey, that might be considered income. I'm like, well, I didn't get it. It just disappeared. I didn't. So I'll find out next year if that's an income.
I think
if
it
they
is.
forced repayment early.
Look, when Oprah Winfrey gave everybody those cars, they're like, no, it's income. And there was a. Now that's a little different. You're giving a car, you're giving value, but there was also Occupy did this thing where they were paying off medical debt. So what they would do is they would contact the hospitals and say, this person's been delinquent. How long? Okay, we'll pay off their debt for 10%. And so someone would owe 10 grand and then they would pay $1,000 and wipe their debt or even less pennies. But people were then pointing out, hey, they have to report that as income because you paid their debt off.
What's so dirty about this is if they took, I had like say $10,000 left to pay off. That's my, and if they force me to pay that back early and then they're going to tax me on that forced repayment, that's like pure, I mean, that's my debt. You can't pay my debt back without my consent. That's insane. Especially if you tax my friends to pay for it.
Right.
That would be the most epic move by Democrats is to like forgive all the debt, but then tax everyone on the forgive debt. So now they all have to pay more money and they have debt to the government instead of the loans.
Yeah, unsolicited accelerated repayments. Like,
but so it's like someone's got a loan with a private, or they're all federal loans, I guess, that are being forgiven. So.
Yeah, even if it's not taxed, it's still insane that if they've taxed my friends to pay for it, that's like insidious.
There's nothing that we've discussed that is beyond what the government has already done historically done. The government
like Japanese internment camps are infinitely worse than them taking people's money for taxes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
or I mean, whether that's the extreme that the U.S. government has done is stuff like Jim Crow or internment camps. When it comes to actually monetary policy and your property and stuff, the government demanded that everyone turn in any gold they had, any gold they owned at all.
Here's the funny
you're
thing.
no longer allowed to own it. So that kind of stuff, government does those kind of makes those kind of decrees and stuff all the time. And it's
we're gonna see this student loan repayment is instant inflation.
Yeah,
instant. Because money that would not have been in circulation is now instantly in circulation. And the argument is it'll stimulate the economy. Sure. And now it's going to immediately result in rapid inflation as more people are spending more money very, very rapidly. It's such a dirty move. And I'll tell you, one of the dirtiest things about it, I do think we're facing a self-correcting problem. You got these viral videos where it's like a man and a woman and they'll film each other. I'm a dink. I can go and do this because I don't have kids. And I'm a dink. I can do this. And these people are excising themselves from the gene pool. These ideas will cease to exist. Democrats are utilizing that short-term opportunity to win political power and then try and maintain a system which slowly just shuffles people off into an ideology that results in them excising them from the gene pool.
I wish it excised the ideas, but since they're making internet video, those stupid ideas stay around for people long after those two dinks are gone, that someone's going to see that video and be like, oh, they must have had a great life. I should be a dink too.
I disagree.
You don't think so?
I believe you're half correct. The video will persist. People can see it. It may influence some people, but the reality is people who are, imagine if a video popped up and there was a guy being like, I took a dump on my floor. That means I don't got to hire a plumber. You'd watch that and you'd be like, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard. I would never do that.
Yeah.
That's right. That's what might happen with these videos.
Yeah.
If the liberals aren't having kids and they're aborting their kids and the rate at which they reproduce is dramatically lower, blue states allow abortions and red states don't. Let's just make it very, very simple for everybody. The one reason conservatives should be celebrating the overturning of Roe v. Wade is not that it's made abortion illegal in some places. It's that it's given them a guaranteed path towards a long-term victory because blue states' populations will decline. They already are. Mm-hmm. There's already an exodus, and they're already not having kids. And now they have an opportunity to abort up to the point of birth. Yep. If you were to ask me, I would say that Democrat politicians hate Democrat voters more than anyone else.
I got kind of this mixed feeling. I was thinking earlier about this, about people that are changing their gender or getting surgeries on their genitals so that they can't have kids anymore, or they're just opting out. In a way, it's like you might think, okay, that's fine and good because that means they'll weed away. And it's like maybe if those people are mentally ill or if they just have some sort of illness, then we need less mental illness in the system. That's okay. But the reality is I want less. I agree, less ill people is good, but that doesn't mean I don't want them to be sick in the first place. I want to find out what's making these people this way and solve that and fix it.
It's that they don't have any family. It's that they don't have any kids, right? I know.
Well, that's not making them sick.
No, but it's making them immature. Liberal. It's making them liberal. So here's how I view it. I know I'm a freak. I got 6 kids with our 7th on the way. We like our kids. We like our family. There's something mysterious about it though, in that it forces you to grow up. It forces you to sacrifice. When you've got screaming kids the next morning, you're a lot less likely to get trashed the night before.
You got to make a video with your wife where you're like, I'm a parent. My kid mows the lawn for me. I'm a parent.
No,
I don't got to do the dishes anymore.
We put them to work now, right? Saturday morning. So here's our system, right? It's called Dadderdays. Dadderdays, we get up at 7, whatever time. Well, they get up 6:30, 7 o'clock sometimes, but they got to clean the house, clean the living room, clean the dining room, put everything away. And they do that. They get donuts, get to go to the movies, get to go to Dave & Buster's, something fun that day. It's Dadder Day. It's the day that they get to spend with their dad. It works out really well because we get a clean home. The lawn gets done. You're not crazy, Tim. That's how it works with big families. That's why the families used to be bigger, was because you'd want to have more workers for your farm or whatever business it was.
And because they were kids died a lot at very, very young ages, babies and miscarriages and stuff. So they're constantly having kids, and then they're having a lot of them. And then a kid might die at 4 years old. So it's just if you don't have kids, you got to keep doing it.
Yep.
But look, man, Democrats continually offer up policies that destroy Democrat positions. Look at their policing policies. They want to abolish police in like the worst criminal areas ever. Like I'm just gonna bring it back to, without getting into an abortion debate, just the idea that someone would look at you and be like, I think you should abort your kid.
Insulting.
I want to make sure, like if someone came to you and said, I want to make sure that if at any point, even the point of birth, your wife wants to terminate the pregnancy, I'm going to make sure she can. Yep. You're going to be like, what are you saying?
But go back to the dink videos, right? Like the dink videos. Like if my wife was telling me that she didn't want to have any more kids anymore with us or with me, I would be really insulted. Like, you don't love me enough to keep having kids. I mean, look, granted, we're reaching the older age and the maximum limit of kids we're gonna be able to have. But like, if we first got married and my wife was unwilling to have kids with me, it would hurt really bad. And I think the same thing on her end. I think it would be insulting. So it's more than abortion, but I think that's a really good point. Like, it is so offensive to tell someone that they should abort their children,
or that they should be like. I don't think Democrats are coming on being like, abort your kids, but they're like, I want to make sure that there is no restriction on your wife's choice to abort your children. It's like, you're basically saying, I hope you die. Yeah. Like, you should not. So that's what they're going for. And it's just like, the end result of this in the long run is red states are restricting abortion. Blue states are allowing it. That's a pressure system that flows in one direction. Yep. People are going to leave blue states. And I hear people say, yeah, but Tim, immigration. I'm like, oh yeah. It doesn't matter. The illegal immigrants that are coming in will still have the same access to abortion, which Planned Parenthoods are mostly in non-white areas. So like, I'm sorry, man, like the Democrats seem to really hate their voter base.
But they create more voters, the more chaos and destruction that they cause, right? The more that we stray from normalcy and goodness and beauty, the more everyone just thinks life sucks. The world sucks. I'm a miserable person. And miserable people vote for communists. That, like, no happy person votes for communism. It's just not how it works. And so they want to cause disorder. They want to cause unhappiness. They don't want you having kids because that gives you an investment in the future. It gives you something to look forward to. They benefit from the chaos and the dysfunction.
I just figured out the student loan repayment thing. So you got people who aren't paying back their student loans, right? That money's basically a debt. That's a dead debt bill. You go to some guy and you're like, where's my money? He's like, I don't got it. You can't beat money out of him. It's not there. So what do? Well, you can garnish wages, but then people are going to lose their minds. I got a plan. Now, if someone owes you money and you're not going to get the full amount, what do? You negotiate a lower amount. Okay, what can you pay me? So for hospitals and credit cards, they'll say, this is a trick a lot of people need to understand. If you owe like $1,000 on your credit card and you're not paying it and they're mailing you, you can call them up and offer them $300. And say, you cancel the whole debt, I'll give you $300. Otherwise, you get nothing. They'll say yes. Not always, but they'll say, okay, fine. Send us $300. We'll close it out. This is what Joe Biden's doing. He's looking at all these student loans, and he's like, we're not getting any of this money back. Let's forgive it all. You know why? The forgiveness qualifies as income, and then they don't get a tax refund at the end of the year. We get to keep all their money. So we're not getting back the full student loan debt. But if someone owes us 10 grand and we pay them 10 grand, that's $3,000 in taxes they owe us. Then when it comes to refund season, they don't get a refund. We keep the $3 grand. So they're not giving money with student loan repayment. They're just saying, you don't owe us anything anymore, but that counts as income. Now you got to give me $3 grand.
Yeah. I think you're on something.
And instantly comes out of your taxes without you realizing it. I'm wondering if we're going to hear a lot of people come, like April, just being like, whoa, I didn't get a refund this year. Yeah, they took it but what's going to happen is they're going to be like, well, my student loan's paid off, so what do I care? Mm-hmm. But that allows the government to retain a large amount of money.
Just 804,000 people got paid back 39, how much was this? 39 billion? 39 billion.
What's the average per person? And then slice off 35 or whatever, 30% towards taxes. Mm-hmm. And that's how much they're going to keep from the taxpayer without giving back their refunds.
What is it like 4,000?
Granted, not everyone's refund is that high. It's only up to like the what is it? What's the threshold for where you don't pay taxes? Like $15,000 or something. Something like that. Anyway, here's a story from Axios just to wrap up this portion of it. It's not just that Joe Biden said he was going to he wouldn't run if Trump wasn't running. Even Axios reported a month ago, Democrats have been working behind the scenes, a shadow campaign to get rid of Joe Biden. So we're about to enter the new year. I hope y'all are excited for the holidays. I know I am. And I don't understand how they pull it off. How do they swap out Joe Biden? Is this hint that Donald Trump gets arrested, or he's already been arrested, he gets convicted, sentenced to prison, and then Joe Biden says, look, I said last year, if it weren't for Trump, I wouldn't be running. Now that he's convicted, I know he's running, but he's not here, and he's not a threat. And I'm gonna bow out and hand it off to somebody else. Then the DNC declares Newsom or Gretchen Whitmer or something.
I just threw up a little in my mouth when you said that.
Whitmer,
that is what's gonna
she
happen.
can't win, so they would never do Whitmer. But some people
They could do
suggesting it.
someone though, like an Andy Bashir type, out of Kentucky.
Yeah,
What do you think about Newsom?
I'm not worried about Newsom. First of all, he looks
Really?
like the dude from American Psycho, right? Like he looks like the Joker.
Now,
You
is
can-
this? I want to push back. I just want to make sure I'm clear. Do you think that your perspective is the normie perspective, or do you think because the reason I ask is I was just in California last week, and like my friends that are in LA and stuff, they generally don't look at Newsom and see the reptile that I see. Okay, like the normies, I think that someone like Newsom is extremely appealing to normies. And do you think that your perspective is a normie perspective, or the perspective that someone like us would have, which is that dude is definitely a reptile?
Phil, I think your biggest mistake is that you're assuming people from California are normies. Like they're the weirdest people.
there
on
are
earth.
some.
I agree with Phil. Newsom is a master debater. And that's why it was a big mistake that Ron DeSantis tried to go up against him, because there's no upside. Newsom isn't a candidate. So the only thing that could happen is negatives for Ron DeSantis. And the important thing to understand about Newsom is that as a lizard person, he can literally say whatever he wants to convince people. So if he were to campaign or debate, he'll just say literally nonsense. He'll say, in the great state of California, our GDP is up 7.3%. Homelessness is down 8.9%. Don't believe the lies. And he just makes it up. And then what are you going to do about it?
Who's going to call him out?
No,
not
nobody
the
will.
media.
Of course not.
There will be no fact checks.
He can literally say whatever he wants. He can say that he was the 15th guy to land on the moon, and that now he's here to bring his expertise in oil to California.
So go ahead with your point, but I really want to know if you think it's something that you think is a non-biased actual guess of what the normal person is, or something that you personally prefer.
No, what I believe is that the average normal human being has no clue who Gavin Newsom is for the most part. They have not been exposed to him. He can be branded, and I think I'm not desperate. I'm not depressed about Trump going after him. Trump has a way of branding people, and I think that we have to fight differently, though. We can't count on the mainstream media to hold him accountable. This has to be fought at the local coffee shops, at the breakfast bars.
That's our plan with Cast Brew. We got to have these local coffee shops where when you walk in, we got TVs playing. It's going to be Timcast IRL. It's going to be Crowder. It's going to be Daily Wire. That's the plan. Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.